Today on the channel, the mood is about to change as we continue Unrivaled Series 10 unboxings with Taz.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another AEW Unrivaled Series 10 unboxing and review. And today, we've got Taz. But for all your AEW and WWE wrestling figure needs, make sure you hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle to save yourself 10%, and that's exactly what you got to do, especially if you want to get these earlier than traditional retail outlets. Ringside is your first chance to get all the new AEW and WWE action figures, of course. You guys know that by now. And make sure you use discount code Kyle, save 10% when you do it. But Taz today, first time in the line. I got to say, I'm excited. I'm an old school Taz fan. I wear it on my sleeve, my love for ECW. I say it all the time. If it wasn't for ECW, I would have jumped out of my wrestling fandom. It just really, in my teenage years, it brought something that was severely lacking in the competition at the time. I like the more extreme, hard-hitting style. The ladies, of course, were always good, but just absolutely loved ECW, and Taz was a huge part of that. Now, Taz, a littler guy, not the world beaters of the WWF generation and stuff, but just something different. And Taz's ring work, mic skills, his feud with Sabu, all of his stuff over the years just spoke to young Kyle, and it still speaks to me all these years later, and I still love seeing Taz on my TV screen after all these years. Anytime I get to see favorites of my childhood still around, like Tully Blanchard is another one I love seeing on AEW TV, I'm all in. And I'm very excited to get this Taz, and of course Taz is also the Chase Rare Edition here in Series 10. I don't got that one. I gotta think, in all honesty, that'll be one of the cheaper exclusives after all is said and done. Obviously, it goes for a lot at first, but you wait a couple series, I bet you that as exclusive, it'll probably drop down in value, probably around $70 or something like that, I gotta think. Is it's just not wrestling related as far as ring gear and stuff. It's an announcer, manager version of Taz, and that's not as lovable as maybe a Jon Moxley in the ring gear, or Cody Rhodes, like we've seen things like that. But without further ado, let's get down to it, and we're going to do it the way we do it all the time on the channel here. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. Any guesses how long it takes to get Hook figure? Of course, father-son with Hook. I think by Unrivaled 15 or 16, we will see Hook. We'll see. And maybe he'll go to Unmatched. You know what I mean. But I think a Hook is coming. Maybe even Danhausen around that same time. We'll see. I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the same series. Somebody mark that down. Let's see if Kyle's clairvoyant. But there's Taz in the Unrivaled Series 10 packaging. Beautiful glamour shot of old Taz right there, looking like a Mafia Don or something like that. But then his action figure looks like a taxi driver is what he looks like. He looks like my Uber driver. I don't know. We'll see. But he's got two heads going on here, all kinds of accessories. Well, one hand and a microphone accessory, which is fitting after all. I would have liked to seen the hat that he has on the back. We'll talk about that here in a second, but a good-looking Taz on there. There he is on the side. What number is he? Number 84, and he is in Series 10, of course. On this side, we got an M, and of course the packaging, lay it all out, it does say Team Taz. It does spell that out, which is pretty cool. But there's Taz on the back. That's the Taz I'd like to see. I'd like to see that hat more than the other hat we got with him. It doesn't look like we got a hat with this one. I thought we were supposed to. Maybe it's in there, or maybe we don't. Maybe it's the exclusive one that has the hat. Who knows? But I got the cross-sell down below, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to unbox all of these, and we're going to rank them at the end of the week like we always do. You don't want to miss a video, so subscribe. Hit the old notification bell, of course. Let's see what it says on the back here about Taz. It says, Taz FTW. Oh, yeah, bringing it all back. Bringing it back. From Dynamite in Jacksonville, Florida, 11/25/2020. And then we got Wardlow, Jake Hager, Dr. Britt Baker, Taz Miro, and Andrade down below. So without further ado, let's dive into this Taz. Let's see what's going on with old Taz. What's Team Taz up to? I'd love to know. Got to find out here. All right, pulling them all out. There it is. Got a little piece here. Bam! Spider-Man style. See you later. Off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. And we get Taz into the plastic prison. Taxi driver Taz. Very interesting look here. Very interesting looking figure here. So there's old Taz. Look at that. Just looking like that. No hat, nothing like that. Just got an extra hand with a microphone and an extra head. We'll pull this out, if I can pop it out. And of course, we'll do some comparisons at the end of the video as I pull Taz in half here. Uh-oh, Taz just got murdered live on camera. See you later. Goodbye. Let's put Taz back together. How about? What do you guys think? Yeah, good idea. All right. I don't know about this one, guys. I don't know. I really want to like this one. It's just going to be very, very strange here. All right. So I got Taz out, and man, it almost feels like a softball, or not a softball, a tennis ball. It almost feels like a tennis ball or an egg or something. He is huge proportioned up top with very small legs down here. So very, very interesting. I know Jeremy and Taz, of course, Jeremy, CEO or president, whatever you want to call him, of Jazzwares this day and age. Him and Taz had quite the hot feud back in the Jack's Ruthless Aggression days when he gave Taz a moo-moo. I could see Taz not being too happy with this sculpt here. He's very, very big up top. And I gotta believe, AEW, they're a great organization, of course. But one thing I'm a little down on with AEW is I like my big jacked up dudes. What can I say? I'm a kid of the 80s. I love those superhero types where AEW is a lot more littler guys, of course. I mean, that's just the way they are, and there's nothing against that. There's a spot for that, but I love big, big dudes. Well, I think Taz is the biggest dude they've made so far, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, we have the Wardlows of the world, things like that. But man, this Taz, he is very big in the chest. Definitely a new mold for Taz. Could be Taz's mold. This could end up being just the Taz mold, they call it. But very interesting there. He does have the Polly Pocket jacket going on, leather jacket. Would like a soft goods on this, but, beggars can't be choosers. Can't get everything you want, as they say. Very, very interesting looking. Okay, let's break down this head here. So we got sunglasses with Taz, which he always wears. You take those sunglasses off, I gotta be honest, I couldn't tell you. If we did the head test, I couldn't tell you this is Taz. And this comes from a guy that's been a fan since the Tazmaniac days. Maybe I could guess my way to it, but maybe it's just Taz being older. I don't know. It just looks really like a cab driver. Just a normal guy you'd see walking down the street. A nice smooth bald head, of course. He's got the gray peppered beard going on. A good look to the face, though. I mean, if you look at the nose and the eyes and the mouth, it feels Taz, but it must be the head and the beard that doesn't feel all the way Taz for me. I don't know. That's just me. Comments below. You guys tell me your thoughts on that one. I did talk about the black Polly Pocket jacket. Then you're down to the brown pants going on here. Then down to black shoes with the white tips and stuff like that. Very, very interesting. I'm gonna pull the hands off. We're gonna get this jacket off of Taz. We're gonna see what's going on underneath. As you guys know, I would have really liked the soft goods on this, but once again, beggars can't be choosers, as we always say. We do got. Let's see, I'm going to switch this hand out. I'm going to give him the microphone hand here, and we'll give him this hand back. There it is. Okay, this hand, the other hands, got two kind of shaking hands. It does have a nice ring sculpted in there, so you guys wedding ring going on. Same thing on the hand here. This is a gripping hand. We've seen these AEW microphones before. We've seen it once again right here. And then it's just a black shirt for Taz. I think you got to keep the jacket on. I just don't recall him wearing just this. So it is interesting. I don't know. They could have went with the sculpt, just a total sculpt of a jacket, and not had it removable at all. Just a total, kind of like the old Jack's days, like the Tully and Arn, Classic Superstars. A bunch of different ones had that. But it's just basically a black shirt for old Taz. I'm going to pop this one off and see what's going on with this head sculpt. This is an interesting one, too. Oh, fit. And unfortunately, his hand is really open, so this microphone is too small for this, so you can easily fall out if you're not careful. I guess be careful there. But then you get Taz with the screaming, yelling head, which I don't know if this looks more like Taz or not. I think it does look a hair more like Taz with the screaming, yelling head. I'm going to put these glasses on here. See how well these stay on. It looks okay. It looks okay. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is the first Taz way I'd like to go with Taz, but it's an interesting one. I'm going to give it that. It's definitely something different, and I'm all for outside-the-box thinking. Of course, he does fit on an AEW Jazzware stand. Fits perfectly like he was made for this stand. And you get these stands at Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save 10% like I always say. He fits perfectly on that stand, but I'm going to take him off for a second here. We're going to do some comparisons of Taz, of course. And first guy I see over here that I'm going to grab for a little height comparison, Wardlow. The old Wardlow. I don't know. What's Wardlow? 6 foot something? I don't know. I got MJF here too. Why don't we grab both those guys? So you can kind of see the height differences right here. It's close enough to be dangerous, I guess, but Taz definitely seems a lot bigger and thicker than Wardlow does, which obviously Wardlow's a lot more jacked than Taz is and a lot taller than Taz is, but you can kind of see the height comparisons going on right there. And then speaking of Taz figures, when I first saw this, I said, you know what? I remember the old school announcer Taz figure from way back in the Jack's days. I think this was part of the ECW line. But you can see Taz, a very, very interesting looking one. Actually, same exact height. So if you think the Jax one was too tall, well, it's the same height as the Jazzwares one. So little Taz comparisons. But then when we think of Taz, in which I hope we think of Taz in the Unmatched line, in the Luminary set here, hopefully in the next year or so, I hope we get a Jazzwares Taz like this. Old school Taz, human suplex machine Taz. Oh, baby, if we could get this in the Jazzwares line, I'd be all in. I'd be moving all my chips in. I'm all in, guys. Give me that. That's the defining Taz to me. Not announcer Taz, not manager Taz. It's the butt-kicking Taz from the ECW heyday. That's what I'm looking for, with the FTW title as well, because they're going to need that for some of the other guys anyways. But a good Taz, I don't know if I'm going to say an absolute great Taz, but it helps out fill out the roster. You got a manager for Starks and Brian Cage, I guess if you want to loop those guys together like the good old days. But I got to think, hopefully we'll get more Tazes. Hopefully this one, AEW Jazzwares team, if you're watching, give us this Taz and the Luminaries. Help old Kyle out. Give Kyle a hand to let that happen. But okay, it's an okay Taz. It's worth the pickup. By no means is you're going to say this is the greatest Unrivaled figure of all time, though. And I can see this one peg warming a little bit because I think a lot of kids out there that collect these, they're probably not looking for Taz. They're probably looking more for the Wardlows and some of the more heavy hitter main day players instead of the manager announcers. And that's just my guess. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? Picking up Taz, passing on Taz? Let me know your thoughts in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, I think we'd all agree we want this Taz, don't we? Yeah, of course we do. But let me know all your thoughts about Taz and Unrivaled Series 10 in the comments. Of course, like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. You don't want to miss a video. We're unboxing them all here on the channel, and everything wrestling and everything else outside of wrestling. It seems like some days we're unboxing here on the YouTube channel, and I'd love to have you guys a part of it. Also, you can hit me up on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, ProWrestlingTees.com, pick up a t-shirt, and then, of course, Patreon, where you can get this video, many other videos much, much earlier, and, of course, best of all, you do support the channel with, you also get giveaways, bonus content, exclusive content, a lot of fun over there on the Patreon, and thanking all the Patreon subscribers right now on the channel. So there it is. So for Unrivaled Series 10 and Taz, I'm Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.